We had an interesting chat over coffee this morning, Teen.
Yes, we did, Norm, and we were talking all about our future travel plans and what we are thinking of doing.
Yeah. And just in case you're new to the channel, we're Tina and Norm, and we talk all things retirement. And today, travel. Yay!
Yay!
Which we haven't done in a long time.
We would also be honored if you would consider subscribing to our channel and giving us a thumbs up.
It really does help us reach a wider YouTube audience. So, what won't we do at the moment, Teen? That's the key question.
There is. And one of the first ones we won't be doing is cruise ships.
No.
That's a no-no for us, isn't it?
We do love to go on cruise ships.
We do.
Don't get us wrong.
No, we have had some beautiful trips.
But coming off all this isolation, no cruise ships for us.
No.
Also, all-inclusive resorts. We have done those in the past as well. And while they're a super idea, you get on in the plane in Canada in the wintertime, you get off in summertime down south. You have those fruity cocktail drinks, which are unlimited, which gotta
awesome.
love that. But we will not be doing that. Because we don't want to be getting with a whole group of people where you're on the plane for 4 or 5 hours, then they put you on a coach for maybe an hour or two, and then you'll line up in the hotel trying to get your keys, and then you're one of thousands at the restaurant buffet. It's just not for us.
No. And the other things we won't be doing is any form of package tours and coach travel. And that's kind of a shame because we did an awesome 24-hour bus trip to the US, didn't we?
To Daytona.
Oh,
if you haven't seen that, we'll link to that.
And we loved it. It was very exciting, wasn't it? But coach travel, all those people together in a small space, no, that's off. So we won't be doing that either, will we, Norm?
No, we won't. So we've got that out of the way. What won't we do? So our plan for travel.
Right. And before we go into our plan, we are going to say that we won't be doing any travel until the non-essential travel advisory is lifted.
That's true.
Because that's very big in Canada, isn't it, Norm?
It is, and because that is in effect from the federal government, it really is null and voided travel insurance, or certainly travel insurance that revolves around any claims based on a pandemic virus. So we're just not going to take the risk because we're getting older and it's comforting to have travel insurance in case anything goes wrong. The other thing that we obviously can't do until the ban is lifted is cross the US border by car.
No,
Because
that's very true, isn't it?
the Americans won't allow us to do that, even though the Canadian government has opened our border just recently to American visitors. For whatever reason, the President of the United States won't let Canadians drive across the border. Not yet, anyway.
No, hopefully that will be soon. But we do have a plan, don't we, Norm?
We do.
And a big part of our plan is winter travel.
Got to get away from that cold, Teen.
We want to be outside of Canada over those winter months, and we can be outside Ontario for up to 7 months a year. So that's our cutoff time, isn't it?
And we would look to divide that between North America and Portugal/Europe, because we have considered other places in Europe, like Malta and Spain. So we would certainly divide that time. We wouldn't stay in one country for the whole 6 months.
So we were looking at, for us to go to Portugal, it's a maximum of 90 days, unless we go down the route of getting a national visa extension, which we kind of feel might be a lot more trouble than it's worth, isn't it? So maybe we'll just be comfortable of either 2 months or 3 months, 60 or 90 days in Portugal.
A time between 60 and
Yeah.
90 days, it's really good. 30 to 60 days is a bit quick,
Yeah.
but certainly 90 days for us covers Europe pretty good for one visit.
Absolutely, and we can still do other visits when we're there, can't we, Norm? We can
Yeah, we
visit
can.
other
We can
places.
travel.
Yeah, that's true.
And then the US, we can be in there for 6 months on a tourist visa, but we would once again likely only go for 90 days. And then between the two trips, that would give us 6 months being outside of Canada. And that is a magic number for us, because if we overstay 6 months in the USA, we're going to end up having to pay tax in the US on our income.
Yeah, we don't want that, do we?
And if we're outside of our home province for 7 months?
Well, 7 months.
But the whole point of being outside of Ontario for that period of time is that we would lose our government health plans as well,
Yeah.
which is very important to us.
Yeah.
So we wouldn't do that.
No.
So 6 months is good for us.
Yeah.
We like traveling in Canada in the summertime anyway. So how we see travel, team?
Well, obviously, when we go to Portugal, we have to get on a plane, Norm.
Yeah, it's a bit far to take the rowing boat.
So once we get over the hurdle of going on a plane, we would then rent a car. But
we always do that anyway.
yeah, we have been renting a car every time we've gone, so we would do a rental car as usual. And instead of staying in a sort of hotel apartment place, we would look more, as we've done in the past, for a private apartment, because then we feel that we can be on our own. We feel it's safer for us, doesn't it? That we're
Element of self-isolation.
not going to be mixing with lots of people in bars and things like that. So that's kind of almost what we have been doing, but we would tighten up a little bit on it, wouldn't
Yeah.
we? Sort of
And
thing.
USA travel, we'd be looking to head south in US, maybe Florida, maybe Texas, Arizona.
Yeah, we haven't been there, have
No,
we? No.
lots for us to explore. So we would drive there, and we purposely bought this car a month before the pandemic,
I
not
know.
knowing that was coming.
We didn't.
So that we
No.
could drive to the US, because even though that sounds like a negative thing to do, why wouldn't you just jump on a plane and fly to your destination? For us, driving, we're unique because we do stock photography, we do stock video. As soon as we get in the car and start driving, that's our vacation starting for us, because we list out all the historical places, places of importance along the way. And so we make sure we stop and photograph and go around
great.
them.
It's all part of the trip to us, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
So once we got to our destination, once again, private rentals. Let's call it Airbnb, even
Yeah.
though we're not saying it'll be Airbnb.
Yeah.
That way, we have this ability to control the crowds and have an element of self-isolation.
And if places get too busy, we just go somewhere else. That was it.
That's right.
Yeah, the theory. So basically, whether we're in Europe or North America, we would be there and having the mindset of social distancing. We will do it ourselves, won't we?
We think that's very important.
Yeah.
We have to take care of our own health, and we're not big restaurant patrons, really. We think we cook pretty good meals ourselves, and we enjoy cooking.
Norm does great meals.
Having a glass of wine, cooking up a storm. But we were talking earlier on, and Tina had come across this survey, which was quite interesting. So why don't you tell us about that, Tina?
Okay. Yeah, there was a big survey done by Snowbird Advisor, and they surveyed 4,000 people. And the amazing thing was that 91% of them said that they would travel this winter, and 66% of them planned on staying 3 months or more. So these were all Canadian snowbirds who were asked what their intention was going to be for this winter. And we were really quite surprised at that.
We were.
Wasn't it? We kind of think there's been a bit of a mindset shift, isn't there?
But
Sort of.
the survey did say there was an increase over last year as well, didn't
Yeah,
they?
I think last year it was only about 40%. So a huge chunk of Canadian snowbirds, or necessarily American snowbirds, because believe me, the Americans who live in the cold climates, they go south just
Sure they
like
do.
just like
Just
us.
like
So,
Canadians.
but this one was done on snowbirds, and we were really surprised at that, weren't we?
I think people are getting wary about not being able to travel and having been staying home for nearly 2 years. It's for a lot of people, especially the older crowd, time's running out, and there's that sense of urgency. Plus, we're used to traveling, and it's a large part of our retirement.
Yeah, we like it.
We do.
And for people older than us, Norm, it's been a big part of their life for years, isn't it? It's part of what their life is in Canada in the summer, and then when it gets cold, you go somewhere warmer.
So we haven't booked anything of yet. We don't have any
No.
firm plans.
No.
This is just an outline. I think what's important for everybody is to keep an eye on the news and the situation as this pandemic unfolds, and to take your cues from what's happening in the future. We've both been vaccinated, so we do feel a little bit better about that.
Yeah, we
But
do.
we're very much keeping up on the news, and we'll only travel when we both think it's safe to do so.
And we're keeping an eye on the US border opening.
Yeah.
And we're keeping an eye on travel insurance rules because, as we mentioned, travel insurance is not valid while this non-essential travel advisory is on there.
Right.
That's one thing that's important to us, isn't it, Norm, when we travel, is that we have travel insurance
Very
to
much
cover
so.
everything, right?
So we would be interested in hearing your
Yeah.
opinions in the comments section of this video. We're all in this together. We're sharing ideas. So
Yeah, we'd love to hear what others are thinking and what your plans are.
we would. So thanks for watching
And we hope everybody is staying safe.
and keeping well.
And until the next time,
Bye-bye.
bye-bye.